Okay, welcome back to Solo Roll Mangging, Tales of Argosa. We're going through A0, Danger at Dark Shelf Quarry. We've done quite well for ourselves so far. But now comes the big finale, which is going to be tricky because we decided that the leaders of this sort of slaver organization, or this branch of them at least, they're not leaving. They're holding down the fort. They've suffered pretty significant losses, but the mine is still functioning. I did kill, I guess, some goblin miners, right? But not really that many, and all the human miners are still there. I mean, I'd have to assume they're still working, right? Because I haven't really done much to the main floor. It's all going on. But we've done a number to their defenses in the lower level. The caverns, I mean. But he still has quite a few men left, because we haven't touched practically anything of the guardhouse in the front. So we know that during the day, you've got 28 human slaves that are present in the guardhouse. I don't know in what capacity. I don't know what they're doing exactly. I guess some of them work as cooks. Here in the holding cells. Okay, so they're mostly just still here in the holding cells. I think eventually you'd have to ship them out, right? Like, I mean, as like a DM, you'd have to get them out of there, and like they ship them out where they're meant to go, and that opportunity is lost. But I think we're kind of having them scrambling here, so there's still an opportunity. But if I were to take a long rest now, yeah, things would change. So that's maybe why he's not ready to leave yet, is he wants to get all these slaves shipped out, so he can actually profit off of them instead of trying to scrap the whole thing or try and transport 28 human slaves across country or who knows what. So yeah, he's trying to get these shipped out. So anyways, so during the day, yeah, you've got 10 human guards, a sergeant, 16 goblins, probably these two big timers, and then whatever these other, I think these are bugbears or something, and 3 wargs. At night, the human guards drop down by 4, but you get 8 extra goblins. So, I don't know if that's really better or not. But at night, we might be able to be a bit more stealthy. And if we're good, it's possible that we could take out a handful of things without causing a big kerfuffle and starting a whole alarm. But, our stealth is not impeccable. We were doing pretty well, though, with stealth, to be honest. When we were going through the caves and stuff, it wasn't too bad. Even with a lot of these characters having -2 on the roll. Yeah, basically everyone is wearing medium armor except for Billigrad. That's because, Tress and Danton are frontliners, and Corin isn't, but her dex is just so atrocious. that I was not really happy putting her in leather. But, I don't know, it's 1 AC. And for group checks, we only really need 2 people to succeed on stealth, so it might help to put her in leather. Yeah. Ah, but her dex is so shit anyway. She's like never gonna succeed, but -2 is, I don't know, it's pretty significant. It's 10%. Alright, let's swap her over to leather. So we'll sell someone here our chain or ring mail or scale mail or whatever it is, and we will swap over to light leather armor. So plus 2 AC. Okay, 11 AC, but at least she has an okay chance to succeed. I'm not willing to throw Tress down to leather. That's dumb. Maybe Masterwork leather, but even still. Okay, so yeah, I guess I don't know if we really have a plan. We haven't really scouted out the guardhouse at all to have any thoughts about it. But I guess we're gonna go at night. So we'll wait the rest of the day and head over there at night. And yeah. Okay. So I guess let's go over there at night. I'll roll a random encounter check. And we got one. Okay, well, that's the start. As we're approaching. And I will roll on this table. It's a 6, so it's another patrol. And this is going to be the wargs. The Goblin Riders, mounted on wargs. Alright, and I guess let's just do a perception versus dex, see if we spot them coming. We succeed by 4, they failed, so we definitely hear them before they see us. And I suppose let's roll a reaction roll. Just to see if they'll attack or flee. Right in the middle. I guess that's probably going to be an attack. Yeah, I mean, I suppose. Oh, and there's also a 25% chance that Brubgrok or Glurthiel accompanies them. So let's roll a D100 and... Nope, 69. No. Alright, then I guess it's just going to be combat against these two. But I don't know. Do we have enough of a reputation at this point where they would just run? I mean, it's not like our faces are known or anything, but we are armored and armed adventurers. All right, I'll roll the Oracle. We'll put it right. We'll put it down to the Oracle. Do they run? They do not. Okay, so then let's just do combat. Initiative. Alright, we succeed. Well, Corin's gonna shoot one of these goblins. 9 damage and natural 19 effect. I do think that goblin is dead. Danton will charge in to attack the other goblin with his spear. That goblin is dead. Then Opportunist lets him attack the warg as well. Missing. Tress will go attack... Yeah, go attack the same warg. We don't want the wargs splitting off and ambushing Villagrad or something. Even though Villagrad's probably going to charge in as well. But she'll go attack the other warg. Miss, I'm pretty certain, yeah. So Villagrad will join Tress over there. Giving him a +1. And missing. Okay, that's it. So now the wargs. Will they flee because their riders died? I will let them roll a morale check. So this is their will of 10. Okay, they are going to run. I'm not even going to attack them. They're just animals. So it's fine. Combat over. Not a significant encounter. Blah, blah, blah. Now, yeah, at this point, I probably should be actually changing encounters to be a bit more substantial. And you could argue that he's much, they're like much more on alert at this point. So maybe they're doubling patrols and stuff like that. But hindsight is 2020. All right, so the guardhouse. Yeah, this music. It's just a little too boppy all the time, and I think this is the problem. Obviously, with AI-generated stuff, it's like it's hard to have like a coherent, consistent tone. Alright, anyways. So, blah, blah, blah. Guardhouse has been built against the quarry pit's south wall, with its lowest floor at the level of the pit, the main floor even with the pit's top, and an upper floor above that. Lowest level of the guardhouse is carved from the south quarry pit wall. Main and upper levels are constructed mostly from granite and limestone from the quarry. Exterior walls and major interior walls are 5 feet thick. Perfect. Minor interior walls are about 9 inches thick. Though fitted together well, the regular stone makes for somewhat rough surfaces that thieves or other characters with climbing ability can scale with a normal chance for success. Inside, most of the guardhouse is dark, dank, and stuffy. Oil lamps provide illumination, mortared into the stone. Okay. So we need a map of the guardhouse to really get an idea here. There was a map somewhere. Am I crazy, or was there a map somewhere? There it is. Alright. Got our map. Good. So, alright, here's the cave entrance. Here's a path leading up to the quarry. Our path up to the guardhouse. The guardhouse is on a ledge over the quarry. Okay. So there is just like a main entrance that is flat with this. The path that goes up. I don't know, why does it say path up to guardhouse? Seems pretty clear that there's just like a primary entrance right here. I guess not. I guess you have to climb up the path. One branch levels out and runs to the quarry pit. The second branch turns and climbs sharply toward the guardhouse. Okay. So, with that in mind, that we'd have to go up this path in order to get there if we wanted to walk a path without climbing. We could try to climb, but I mean, we're really not great at that. We'd have to do some... Oh, you know what? I've completely forgot about the unique feature. Well. Okay. And, this is back. This is back. We're good. Okay. Yes, unique feature, because we hit level 3. I forgot. This was like a day ago. Let's talk about the unique feature. Everybody gets one at 3rd, 6th, and 9th level. And we have to do... So... Basically, you know... If we go to class here... Page 15, unique feature. Every 3rd level devise one new ability, trait, or theme for your adventurer. Feel free to borrow feats, class abilities, perks, and so on from other games modified to suit Tales of Argosa. The advancement need not be limited to traditional class themes, allowing for a degree of multi-classing. The open nature of unique features requires some table discussion to keep things balanced and consistent with the genre of your campaign. Consider these advancements under constant playtesting and subject to tweaking. If uncomfortable with creating your own unique features, some examples appear on page 45. Alright, so... Yeah, basically anything. As long as your DM is in agreement. And even as a player, if a DM approves something, you should consider it to be subject to change at their whims, in the ultimate pursuit of balance. But, you know, it should be pretty flexible and fun, and that's the whole idea of it. Then you have their generic list of possible unique features that you could just pick from if you are struggling. Or you could customize these, so on and so forth. And many of them have a couple or 3 powers or tier lists, tiers. These are not progressive. It's just the GM decides the general power level of what he wants out of a unique feature. And so, you know, if he says go nuts, then you can take the tier 3, which gives you the whole thing, everything. So if the GM's okay with it, and you pick armor training, you get proficiency in all armor and shields. If he's okay with it, you pick Iron Grit. You increase your hit point max by 5. You can spend a reroll to turn a critical hit against you into a normal hit, and you get a +2 bonus on death save. So There's definitely just like mechanical things of just like, I don't want anything weird. I don't want anything that makes me think. I don't want anything creative. I just want to be mechanically better at what I already do. And it's like, okay, you know, then you can just, if you're using a dagger, it does 1d6 instead of 1d4, and you can throw it up to far range. And if you want even a little bit more, then you can have expanded crit range for dagger and knife attacks. If we really want to go just, all right, you know, if this is what you really want, and we'll go ham with it, then, yeah, on a natural 19 or critical with a dagger, you get blade trauma 1d10 plus 2. Like, okay, yes. This is all I want. I just want to stab things really goodly with daggers. And it's like, okay, fine. And I think, you know, this section is then pretty useful for just kind of deciding how big of a buff you want to apply as a DM to someone that just says, look, I just want to stab things better with my sword or my spear or my dagger or my bow or whatever. And it's like, okay, you know, generally you can bump up the damage die, you can increase the crit range by 1, stuff like that, you know. That's about the level of power we're looking for. Then there's also the cross-class stuff. If you want to borrow just an ability from a different class, that's pretty simple, pretty easy, and they have guidelines for all the different classes. So if you want to steal the Bard ability, you can get a Inspire Greatness. You get 2 uses of it, which can, you know, you can recover that and all that. If we don't want to have a full Bard, but someone does have a good charisma, we'll just grab Inspire Greatness. For us, that would be useless. But maybe Villagrad instead wants to be better. Maybe he wants to be a better fighter. So he could take Adaptable and get 2 fighting styles. But he doesn't get a default one, so he has to spend one of his 2 uses every time to do it. You know, so that's sort of general guidelines. And then there's stuff that's a little bit more out there, a little bit more flavorful, like Poisoner. Lets you create poisons and blah, blah, blah. Like Secret History, where you get an extra background that no one suspected, and you can get a useful related contact who's a past ally, owes you a favor, has goals aligned with yours. Or you can even gain a powerful related benefactor whose goals are consistent with your own for now. You know, really kind of just narrative stuff that practically isn't even on your character sheet and just represents stuff going on in the campaign. Yeah, so all sorts of stuff like that. And then I think there's things that, you know, players are going to come up with all sorts of useful stuff. Out there stuff, wild stuff, special abilities and things like that. You know, characters might want to go invisible, or they might want to just be able to walk on walls, or they might want to do, I don't know, like, I want to fucking Kamehameha. Please give me that. That's my unique feature. You know, I don't know. And so I don't know, you know, I'd have to read through all these for the full kind of idea of the power level and like how many uses you'd get out of it and stuff like that. I see a lot of stuff that's once per adventure. So that might be the guideline for like really special abilities. I don't know if the once per adventure stuff is meant to be replenished on a rest. Yeah, because this is one use of an expended class ability. But it's like, I guess once per adventure, this is a class ability. You get it as part of leveling up in your class. And even though it says once per adventure, I mean, that's what they all say, right? Like Adaptable says, yeah, you begin an adventure with one use of your ability. I mean, it says you can regain expended uses by taking short or long rests, but that's the default language that they use for everything is once per adventure. Unless it says, like, supplies. After using this ability, you may not use it again until you resupply at a village, town, or city. So, yeah, I don't know if I'd have to look more into the Discord. I haven't really looked up people's thoughts on unique features and kind of more examples from like actual campaigns of what people have come up with. But yeah, it pretty damn flexible. What we want to stick to stuff that's pretty simple. I don't want to go out there, and I don't really have identities for these characters to really think about it a lot to come up with something unique, crafted to each of their kind of characters and personalities. So yeah, probably keep it pretty simple. But I was looking at signature weapon. We're having a pretty easy go of it, so I don't know if I want to go... I don't think I'm going to go tier 3 on any of these. It seems pretty powerful. Tier 1 might be a little too weak, but I don't know. It's probably fine. It's probably fine. So, yeah, so signature weapon, you choose one weapon type, and you treat your damage dice as exploding. So for spears, we would re-roll... We would add another d6 every time we get a 6. Which is pretty good, but his spear's already really damaging. But then going for, like, Shield Magen, getting extra AC from a shield. I don't know if we really need that either. Oh, but see, this says you begin an adventure with one use of this ability. That's slightly different language than once per adventure. So maybe that one is allowed to be regained. Whereas this, once per adventure, spend an action to grant a touch target, including yourself, another luck save versus ongoing poison or disease. That seems different language. Compared to the first part, you begin an adventure with one use of this ability. Yeah, okay, so maybe that's sort of the differentiator of power level. Once per adventure seems really slim. Like, say I want my character to be able to, like, walk up walls. And that's my unique feature. And I can only do that then once per entire adventure. As far as I'm concerned, this whole thing that we've been doing has been one adventure. So I don't know, it seems pretty limited, but also I'm not sure if I would do where you can regain it at short rest. That's why I generally like once per day, but I know they are obviously trying to avoid that concept. Armor Master. Reduce all damage suffered by 2 points down to a minimum of 1. Would I ever even remember that that's in play, though? I don't know. Am I ever going to remember that this spear exploding dice thing is in play? Probably not. I don't think there's a way to indicate that. There must be some formula for exploding dice, right? Yeah, okay. I guess that apparently is the formula. Maybe? I'm gonna keep rolling until... I just want to see a 6 get rolled. I want to see some, like, crazy high number. Boom. There you go. Boom. That did it. Ooh, okay. So we can automatically implement that. Well then, that's pretty good. Assuming this is correct, that's 8 plus 2 plus 1. Yeah, okay, that is correct. Good. Awesome. Well then, I don't know. I feel like we're definitely going to take that for Danton. Do we want to take that for anybody else? I think the higher damage number you have, the worse exploding dice is. Much less likely. So at D4, it's really pretty good. But I don't know if it's great for Corrin. We do have Marksman as an option. But it's not really... The tier 1 is not that amazing. So I guess I could. We're just going to give signature weapon to everybody because it's the easiest to implement and I don't have to think about it. I suppose so. It's really kind of lame. It's the lamest version of the unique feature thing that we could possibly do, but it also requires the least amount of thought and effort. But I don't know. I would say that if I just want to do, like... If I want to just increase my damage with longbows to a D10 instead of a D8, I think that would be allowed as well. Now, what's better? Have exploding D8s or just a D10? Or would I allow a D10 plus 1? That could be pretty good. I don't know. How do we figure out the... Hold on. All right, anyways, the math on exploding D8 versus a D10 plus 1. Well, on average, the D10 plus 1 is going to be like 6.5 damage compared to our current number with the D8, which is 4.5. So you're looking at an extra couple damage every time you attack on average, which is pretty good. Whereas the exploding... Fucking hell. Math behind exploding dice. This is a lot of math. This is a lot of math, man. I don't do good with math. Just tell me if it's good. I could ask ChatGPT. Let's ask Chat. No, I'm gonna ask DeepSeek. DeepSeek's way better at everything because it's Chinese. They know. Get out of here, cat. I can't see anything. Eight-sided die that okay. Hopefully I guess I could have just called it exploding D8 and it probably would have understood. Okay, it's doing all the math. It's showing all its numbers. Yep. Okay, yep. It's showing a lot of math and it's explaining it all. The numbers seem correct. Yep, that, okay. Oh, wait a minute. It actually said, wait a minute, it's correcting itself as it goes. It says, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. What the fuck? On average, the 10-sided die yields higher results than the modified 8-sided dice. Okay. All right. Well, let me. Okay. I believe it, but let me modify that a little bit. Get out of here, cat. I need to see. Okay, well, I mean, even without the +1 on the D10, it still says the D10 is going to come up with a higher result. I don't think... I mean, the odds of you rolling 2 8s in a row, it's got to be really slim. It's showing equations and math, and it's like fucking Goodwill Hunting on my screen at the moment. But yes, the D10 with +1 seems to crush any exploding dice. Yeah, okay. Well, what about... What if we change it now to compare the spear thing, where instead of exploding on D6s, we could upgrade it to a D8 +1. So the expected value for a D8 +1 is 5.5. It's doing just so much math, man. You don't even know about the math. It has the expected value for the exploding D6 at 3.7. It says, in games or decision-making scenarios where consistency is valued, the D8 with a +1 bonus would be preferable due to its higher average outcome. However, if the situation allows for or rewards higher variability and the potential for significantly higher results, the exploding D6 might be more appealing despite its lower average. It's true. We can't just think about averages. We do have to think about max potential. And an exploding dice has infinite potential, which is pretty juicy. Now, do we think that's correct? A 3.7? Here is a thread. Okay, my God. My Firefox is just is crashing every time I search. It's really annoying. Not as imbalanced as you think. So the average increase for value on a D6 is 0.7, which probably lines up with what... Well, wait a minute. What did it say? I mean, the average value on just a D6 is 3.5. Yes, 0.7 average increase to a d6 doesn't mean you deal 3.7 damage on a 3. It means you deal potentially a ton more on a 6. Yes, it's true. Average is probably not the right way to look at this. We'd have to factor this... Yeah, so it's not a... I mean, it's not really a matter of averages. Even though that's the easiest to kind of think about. It's more like... Yeah, I mean, it's just like max potential. So we have an enemy we're fighting that has 40 health. No matter what you want to call it, the D8 plus 2 will never kill it in one shot. Whereas a D6 exploding could. But the odds are just so slim. And I think I saw there was, yeah, this article. So you have a 17% chance on any given roll of a D6 exploding for it to have at least one explosion. But then you only have a 3% chance when you roll to get 2 explosions at least. Then, after that, a 0.5% chance. Less than 1%, you know, to get 3 explosions. And then at least 4 explosions is 1 in 1,000. Less than 1 in 1,000. So it's just never going to happen. And that's why you have to... I don't know. I feel like average is kind of the best way to look at it, because... I don't know. I guess I'd leave it up to the players in that case. Like, look, if you just want to buff one type of weapon, you could change your dice to be exploding, or you could bump it up plus, you know, a die size and add +1. Honestly, the +1 might be overkill, really. But in comparison to exploding, it would depend on... No, I don't know. I guess the fact that I'm kind of on the fence about the whole thing, I suppose, means it's decent enough choice. So, all right, for spear, we're gonna just do the exploding. For the bow, however, we're gonna bump this up to 1d10 +1, and just see how it goes. It might be overpowered, but we'll go with that. Tress, I guess, is gonna take the same thing as Danton with her spear. So that's 1d6x6. Yep. Then we have Villagrot. What do we want for him? We could get him armor proficiency and shield proficiency. Well, he could get proficiency in the next level of heavy armor or shields. You do one or the other. If we wanted him to be more melee. Or instead, we could give him the alchemy and mechanica. We could get one invention. So we could give him... we could get him the gun. We could get him the fucking gun. Two-handed, far range, 4d4 damage. But his perception's pretty good. Honestly, that might be what we do. Firing is loud, preventing stealth. On a fumble, the gun malfunctions. I'm still not sure if you have to spend uses of your thing to actually utilize the weapons or not. I still have no idea. Let me see if that's mentioned in the Discord. Don't worry, eventually we're going to actually get to this finale. Let's see here, blah, blah, blah. Oh, no. Okay, it is always on. You do not have to spend uses for it. So if we pick black powder weapon, we just have a fucking black powder weapon. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna create an item. Unless it's... It might be in the... I highly doubt it. Oh! Ooh, it is! Well, he's gonna dump those darts. Nice. 4d4 exploding. This is what we're talking about now. Has to be reloaded as a crossbow. But still, it is gonna be immense. Immense, I say! Excellent. Alright, good. Good. This is all good. We like all this stuff. Level 3 done. It was very simple, very mechanical. Just makes us better at killing everything in sight. That's the game we're playing. Alright, now we can continue on. So, right. We still have the issue of walking up to the guardhouse, along the path or trying to climb the rock wall to get up to the side. Neither one is especially appealing. We do have a grappling hook, pretty sure. Someone has it. Someone has a grappling hook? Yep, okay. So, someone could scale it and then put the grappling hook on, or we could just try and throw the grappling hook up onto the rock. I don't know how high the bluffs are here. Yeah, it doesn't really say at all. Yeah, it doesn't really say. So when in doubt, I'd say just allow it. Fine. We want to throw up our grappling hook to scale the wall. I think that's probably pretty quiet and easy. I don't think that's really worthy of a check of any kind. We're scaling this right here. This wall. Oh, this is a pit. Oh, there's a pit around the whole place. Ooh, okay, it's got like a moat sort of thing. Separated from the main slope by a stony crevice, perhaps 10 feet wide and at least twice that deep, with crumbling mossy walls. Okay, that's a little trickier. 10 feet wide. And the walls themselves, I think they said were 12? 15? Well, it doesn't really say, but the ceilings are 12 feet high. So that means the whole top of it has to at least be 24 feet. Probably says somewhere, somehow, something, but okay. So let's say we get up and we're like here. We're in front of the pit, we see the walls, things like that. So here's probably where we're gonna need our first stealth check. No guards are posted at the door, but the guards on the parapet in Area 22 watch the bridge and door while keeping out of sight. 22. So they're watching the door up here, but then there's also stuff at 17. Yeah, there's people at 17. And we're trying to get up top, so we're gonna have to roll stealth here to see if we can. Well, first of all, I guess let's roll perception for whoever's throwing the grappling hook, to see if they latch on to the parapet, the rampart, or whatever you want to call it. There's a difference. But yeah, we're gonna throw the grappling hook. It's dark, I suppose, and we have to throw it at somewhat of an odd angle because we're kind of throwing it. We're on the other side of this pit, so it's not really straight up or anything. It's at a bit of an angle. So I'm gonna put -2 on this. And this is just to see if we hook on our first try. Great success. All right, we definitely do. And actually, because of that great success, I'm going to give everyone +2 on their stealth roll. Because that's how nice I am. I think Islethe is going to stay out of this entirely. The place is going to be illuminated. We don't really need her assistance or anything, so she's gonna stay back. And Danton's gonna go first. He's got -2 but +2, so we're just doing straight up Dex stealth. Go. Failure. Okay, that's a bummer. He was definitely one that was meant to succeed, so that's quite shitty, and he's no rerolls, so that's that. Corrin will go up next, because she's got really bad dex, but we're giving her the +2. Success, because of that +2. Excellent. Alright, then Villagrad will go up. He also gets the +2. Great success. Alright, I think we're Gucci. Tress is gonna go up. She also is wearing heavy armor, medium armor. Terrible failure. Okay, but 50-50 is kind of right where we need it to be. So, you know, that's this is what we... Oh, it's more than half the group. Oh, yeah. Or require a failing PC to make a luck save for the group to pass. Okay, I think that's fair. So, Danton and Tress can make luck dex saves. Just normally. Okay, Tress made it. I'm not even going to have Danton roll. So, had to give up another luck point, but we made it. And we are in the clear for the brief moment in time. So we're right here. So we can probably see whatever's at 17. So let me look at that. Crenellations surround this flat rooftop except at one corner where archways lead into a covered area. The rooftop is bare except for 2 stacks of stones roughly piled. And there's 2 human guards, but after sunset, 4 goblin warriors. Combat at one guard post immediately alerts the guards at the other post, and they lose no time in coming to their comrades' aid. Reinforcements use missile weapons if possible to attack the invaders. Both sets of guards eventually notice if the guards at Area 22 face a fight, they come to the north post for help. Guards here send half their number to join the battle. Okay, so this is where it gets tricky, and there's 4 of them here. Villagrad does have, we actually have, yeah, we bumped up our spell numbers quite a bit now, based on Shadow Dark rulings. Although Shadow Dark's rules emphasize more flexibility in the number of spells you have available. But, yeah, due to the way you do rolls and everything, it is possible for you to have, at this point, 4 novice spells, tier 1 spells, whatever. And each of them you could roll 4 times. You could roll them 8 times. I mean, who knows what. So Shadow Dark has a lot of spells potential. Ours, it's just the 4, and we're kind of like a sorcerer that we get to pick which ones we want to cast. So, alright, I think we're going to put him to sleep. So he's going to mutter his spell. Now, it says, for spell casting, it just says clear speech. Clear speech. It does not have a volume required for clear speech. And it has an option for making a stealthy spellcast, but it's sleight of hand, which suggests that it's the free hand aspect that's more stealthy. Meaning that you probably can whisper. Which, yeah, I mean, you know, speaking loudly always seems like a bit of a weird requirement. Like the gods of magic have to be able to hear you or something. So, yeah, I don't think we need a stealth check here. We're just going to do int. Arcane lore. Great success. Alright, well, they are all asleep. 4 goblins. Plonked out. Good. That's a good start. I do have to deduct this, though. And we also added... oh, yeah, we don't have a tier 2 spell yet. So that's useless to us. Unless I give the option of, like, upcasting, but I'm probably not going to go for that. Okay, so, that was one use of spell. And we see that, there's a good distance away to this other outpost of 4 more goblins. This is 5 feet, yeah, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, so like 100 feet away. So I think we should be able to just kind of creep over to this corner and slit the goblins' throats without causing a problem. Right now we don't have any lights on, so we're just under the moonlight, and they, I assume, have a light? I don't know, maybe they wouldn't. Maybe it's all dark up here. So we're just operating off of moonlight, which, if I was going to actually do ranged attacks and stuff, would definitely be at a disadvantage for us compared to the goblins. But I'm just casting sleep in a general area, and then we're getting in close. So I think this is good. So now we're going to do the same thing with the other pack. So I'm going to use that spellcast again, spellcraft again, Cane Lore. Good, success, barely. Even though I feel like I should... I don't know why skills are not adding +1 to the roll. They should. But either way, success. So, another sleep spell, another 4 goblins down. So we will creep over there now and slit all their throats. Okay, still no significant combat or anything, but that's good. Nice and quiet. Okay. So now we've gone around, we see 2 doors where we came in, we see 2 doors here, we see 2 more doors on this side. And then now we want to do a full 360, so we're going to approach 22 here. A crenellated battlement surrounds this parapet. In the floor is a 5-foot wide hole with sloped sides. Piles of stones loosely stacked flank the hole. 4 more goblin warriors standing guard here. Do I want to waste a 3rd sleep spell? Or now do we think, like, okay, these seem to be the last ones on this level. We can probably just jump them. Alright, we're going to creep up close enough for melee. So now it's going to be an opposed check. So I'm going to roll their dex. I'm going to roll their perception. And then that's the number that, that margin that we have to succeed against as a group. So the goblin's perception is 11. So let me roll that. Okay, so they failed by 4. So as long as more than half of us don't fail by 4 on our decks, we are good. -2 for Danton. Alright, he succeeded, no problem. Corrin can roll her stealth, which gives +1. She failed, actually, because her dex is terrible. Villagrad, normal, success. So now we need Tress to succeed. Probably. Alright, we're good. So we sneak up to within melee range on all the goblins. I mean, Corrin doesn't really sneak up, but yeah, she was part of it. Okay. So now we've got 1 target for each person, and hopefully with advantage we kill them. Alright, so advantage. Yes. Alright, Danton definitely kills his. Remember, they only have like 3 HP. Corrin gonna shoot 1. Advantage. Kill. Villagrad. Not black powder. He's gonna use spear. Advantage. Crit. Kill. Excellent. Last one. Tress, spear, advantage. Kill. Perfect. Alright, that's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I didn't want to risk that multiple times, so I wanted to use sleep at least a bit. But I don't want to... I want to have some in reserve. Still not a significant encounter, but We have cleared the top battlements. Good. So now we're going to have to go inside, and this is where it gets a lot dicier. So I guess we're going to go over here to this door on the east, and we're going to slowly crack it open here. Now, it doesn't seem like there's anything actually in the main floor here. Unless I'm supposed to. Upper level contains 3 guard posts, living quarters for the principal residence. Only the central section has a roof. The rest of the levels open to the sky. Okay. Yeah, there's really nothing happening in the center area here. So we creep in and don't find much. Then I guess we'll creep over, and this place is pretty poorly illuminated. It's lit by like candles and stuff, it said. So yeah, we're not like in a brightly lit room here. Most of the guardhouse is dark, dank, and stuffy. Oil lamps at 15-foot intervals. So yeah, it's pretty dim in here, which is going to be potentially a factor because we're going up against goblins. But all right, let's go listen to the door to 21. All right. So there's 2 bugbears, and there's a 50% chance they're in here, 50% chance they're in room 20. So I will roll a d6. So on a 4 through 6, they're in this room. Okay, they're not in this room at the moment. All right, I think we do definitely hear some sounds, though. Because there's 18 human slaves in here. So we definitely just hear kind of human presence, you know, like light moaning or like a cough or, you know, various sounds that groups of people would make in a room. Which is worrisome, you know. I mean, I know it's just slaves in here, but if we're about to sneak into like a whole barrack, you know, and filled with guards that are like, you know, maybe half of them are sleeping, but then there's guys that are just like laying in bed awake or jerking it, or I mean, who knows what. We'd enter a whole shit show. And unfortunately, you know, we don't have anyone that could just like... It seems like it would be a very notable thing for this door to open to the barracks. Like, everyone's gonna know that someone entered. Alright, I'm gonna leave it for now. I don't trust it enough. So we're gonna sneak over then to room 20 and we listen in. And here there are the bugbears. Snick, Scab, and Nubgrod. It doesn't really seem like a bedroom or anything. There's 2 braziers in it with glowing coals. There's a low stone slab near the north wall. A heap of dirty furs lies against the south wall. A collection of chains, manacles, and leather straps hang from the ceiling. I guess it is a bedroom. They have the dirty furs and stuff. kind of hard to tell exactly what kind of room this is. It's just called Taskmaster's Chamber. And it's like, you know, there's like it's like a torture room. So I guess maybe we could just make it easier for myself and just say they're disciplining a slave. So like we can hear like a whip cracking and like cries of pain and stuff. Okay. So I guess let's crack open the door ever so slightly to peek in. And yeah, it reeks of sweat and filth. It's dimly lit by two braziers. And there's a human strapped to a heavy wooden rack. There's a bugbear there cracking a whip, and another one just like grinning and watching and like taunting him, maybe beating him down mentally and emotionally. And they haven't noticed us crack the door open yet, so now it's up to us to decide how to play this. You know, you don't really want to make too much noise, but I guess we'll try a stealth roll again and try and sneak up behind them to destroy their lives. We're doing a lot of stealth, a very stealth-heavy group. Maybe because the stealth rules are just so nice and generous, and as a group, we have an exceptionally high dex. All things considered. Like, 3 of the 4 have a 13 or higher dex. That's kind of unlikely. So yeah, we're pretty good. All right, let's sneak in. I could give a bonus because they are a little distracted. I suppose that's not a bad idea. So we'll go with a +1. So Danton is going to have a total of -1. He succeeds because of that bonus I gave him. Corin is going to have a +1. Yeah, and that didn't work. Villagrad, +1. Failure, uh-oh. And Tress is going to have a total of -1. Failure. All right. Well, there's no going back from that. Yeah, we're really out of rerolls and everything, so they definitely hear us enter. You know, the 4 of us slowly slip in, and the door creaks or whatever you want to call it. And I think combat just initiates. So hopefully we succeed on initiative. Otherwise, this gets really bad pretty quickly. All right, we failed initiative. We really bungled this one. Boy, howdy. So, yeah, we'll assume they just have weapons in sheaths ready on them and stuff. They're not, like, sitting nearby. So, yeah, they are going to attack. And I guess Danton's in front. He's going to take the brunt of it here. I could use their stats. Let me see. Do we have bugbears? Bugbear. 8-foot tall Ursine humanoids with bear heads. They are hit dice 3, and they attack with claws and bites. Saying weapons are for the weak. I guess, but I think we can just use these stats. So this is going to be 14 AC, 14 HP, +3 on their attack, dealing 2d4 damage. I mean, I don't really know what weapons they're using. Maybe they are using their claws. Okay, maybe they are using their claws. Then I guess I could just use these. Which is 12 AC, +3 on the attack. 2 claw attacks and a bite attack. If both claws hit, the target suffers 12 damage. Ignore normal claw damage. Alright. So, we will just do this. So they're going to each roll... Oh, boy. They're each going to roll twice with +3, and then we'll see if those hit or not. So the first guy misses both. The second guy hits with 1. And this is a 1d4 plus 1 damage. 2 damage to Danton. And then the bite attacks. Say plus 3, 1d6 damage. The second one hits for 6. Oh, that hurt a lot more. It bit right into his neck. Ah! Alright, well, Danton is going to, yeah, he's just going to counter. Or should I use Ring of Stolen Years? I don't know if I'm going to... yeah, we probably want to use it when it's a big fight and I need the health during the fight. Because short rest covers a lot of stuff. Wait a minute, Mikey. Oh yeah, never mind. Okay, we're good. Yeah, we're good. Because they should have gotten a +1 on all their rolls, but that wouldn't have changed anything. So I'm just going to attack 1. Miss. Fuck. Tress will join him. Technically, there's no surrounding with this, because it's 2-on-2. So it's just a normal attack. That is a hit for 4 damage on 1. And they got 3 hit dice, so that's an 13. Yep. So he's at 9. And we could do a minor exploit. Sure, we'll try and knock his ass on the ground. Success by 4. He's got 18 strength though. Oh yeah, he does not accept her bullshit. Okay, then Viligrad will come in. He's still not... He can't use the black powder weapon until we're certain that stealth has entirely failed across this whole thing. Okay, I just need... Okay, I gotta get out of this music. I need just like D&D combat music or something. I don't know. Just give me something generic but not fruity. Thank you. Right, so Viligrad now bouncing in to capitalize on this wounded bugbear. And he's rolling with +1, because there's 3 here against 2. Crit! Kill! That is a kill. He was at 9. And now he's dead. Well done, Viligrad. Finally, Corrin will shoot the last remaining guy. That is a hit for 13 fucking damage. Max roll. 1 shot. Now, on average, I think we wouldn't have killed him with exploding D8s. So that is a pretty terrifying amount of damage that we can inflict now. Oh, there is I did see in the Discord a discussion about what to do with exploding dice on crits. Because crits say that you roll, you know, that you do max damage. But max damage on exploding means that it explodes. And it explodes maxly, infinitely, blah, blah, blah. So I think some person said that they... Like, if you crit with the black powder, it would do 4s on everything. So that would be 16. And then each of those 4s would get 1 more d4 that you'd roll. So the exploding, it just guarantees it explodes once, and I guess it could explode more. But yeah, critting with black powder weapon probably is just going to kill a lot of things that you target in proper gun form, you know? Alright. Well, that is 2 kills. Pretty neatly. Very nice, very nice. So... The pile of furs holds 2 leather pouches, each holding 100 gold pieces. I will add 200 gold because we will search the room and while we're letting the slave out of his manacles on the wooden rack. He doesn't really know much. all the slaves here, unlike the slaves in Area 12, they've not been in the guardhouse long enough to learn the layout or routine, but they can tell the party how they came to be here. See the note on Area 12. Raiders abducted them from their homes. Eventually, they were brought to the quarry on a ship that traveled up the local river and tied up at a jetty. After that, they were blindfolded and carried a very long way. Slaves are vaguely aware that a village is nearby, but they do not know its name. They know that some of the quarry workers are not enslaved, but they've never been able to speak with any of those workers. Right, so they don't sell all slaves, obviously. They do use some of them for some other purposes, but I would imagine that most of them get sold eventually. And I think now the leaders here are trying to sell off pretty much all the slaves here so they can maybe vacate the premises before things get worse. I would imagine that's what we're doing. So I think the guy tells us that sort of stuff and then can tell us that, the rest of the slaves are to the south in that room. So now we know that that's all slaves in there. So we probably tell him to just go there and wait, and we're going to be taking care of this place once and for all. Don't worry. The bugbears have a set of keys for all the manacles in the guardhouse, so we can take those. And we're good. Okay, good. Was that a significant combat? Didn't even last a full round. Well, I guess it just about did. Well, Danton did take damage. It's kind of right on the border. I'm going to roll the Oracle. Was that a significant combat? No. Sorry, Danton. Alright, then we're going to creep over to room number 19. I don't know if there's meant to be random encounters here or not, but I didn't see a table. So we listen at 19. He's present about a third of the time. Eventually, we're going to have to figure out where this guy is if he's not here. So he's here on a 1 or a 2. Who is here? Well, that makes things easy. So here he relaxes and acts like an orc once in a while. I wonder when he sleeps, though. Possibly now. Oracle, is he asleep? He is. Well, that's pretty good. So we don't really hear anything. But we will, as always, enter very cautiously. So we're going to do dex checks to see if he wakes up. What is the... What's the sleeping... perception disadvantage? In older editions, it was a -20 modifier. Okay, well, that's pretty severe, and practically means that you don't even need to roll, but we will have him roll his perception at disadvantage, so whatever the higher number is. All right, a 19. If his perception is a 13, as long as we don't fail by 7 or more, we're pretty much good here. So, yeah, Danton succeeded even with the -2. Foreign had a great success. Villagrad, great. Oh, yeah, we are fucking... Except for Tress for some reason, but it's still not enough for this guy to wake up. So we enter very quietly. The stench of sweat, unwashed bedding, and half-eaten food hangs heavy in this room. The only light comes from a faint glow from the fireplace, which contains a few smoldering embers, and whatever filters in through the windows. The room has no furnishings. Oh, well, shit. Just a low dais blanketed in greasy-looking furs and littered with dirty bowls and a few gnawed bones. Okay, so he's sleeping on the dais, on the greasy-looking furs. I mean, I don't know if the, if this module ever intends for this guy to sleep based on his schedule or anything, but I gotta have him sleep sometime. And it's nighttime. So, I don't know, it seems appropriate enough. And this seems like where he would sleep. It's the stench of unwashed bedding. So yes, this is where he sleeps, and he's sleeping, and we have snuck up on him. So, I guess that's it. I don't think there's really even a role here, right? Like, if we all just coup de grace him simultaneously, he's dead. So, which is good, because he would be pretty dangerous. He's a 3rd level fighter with AC of 17, 18 hit points. And he'd roll, I guess I'd give him a +5 on his attack, dealing... What kind of damage is this? 1d8 plus 4? Yeah. 1d8 plus 4. He'd be pretty dangerous, man. But luckily he's dead, and that's the end of it, and it's not a significant combat. Which implies that I'm not giving XP for any of this, and I guess I'm not. Although I should give XP for that money that I found. So we'll give an XP for that to 7. Oh, and you know what? I saved that guy, so we'll go to 8. Okay. So he has a longsword +1. None of us really use longswords, but Villagrad could. Yeah, Villagrad will finally ditch the spear. Even though we are a spear crew, he recognizes the value in a +1 longsword. So, we're gonna go here, melee, sword, long. You can use any one-handed weapon, because, you know. So this is going to be rare, possibly very rare, I don't know. +1. So the damage is 1d8 +1. Okay. So if I roll this, what are you telling me about it? And that's adding 2. Why would it add 2 to the roll? Is that what Master Forge does? He has 10 strength. So it shouldn't add anything. Oh, because there's attack bonus. Oh, okay. Well, then it should add another thing. Unless... Master Forged? Huh. There isn't actually an option for a +1 attack. And there's no way for me to fucking indicate that I want it to have a +1 attack, which is really obnoxious. Damn. Can only increase the damage by 1. Well, I guess that's what it is. I guess that's what it is. So not quite, unless I can do magic item, but I don't. You can't equip magic items. Technically, I can't like roll it. Yeah. So no, not a magic item. It's just it is what it is. Why are you asking me to check Master Forge if that doesn't mean anything or do anything? I don't know. It's a +1 longsword, does +1 damage, and he's gonna use it. So done deal. Okay. We also find a strong box with a key on him. You ready for this number? 350 times 5. $1,750 gold is what we find in this box, along with 10 carnelians, which is another 500 gold. But we are level 3, and it's like, it's really not that insane amount of money, all things considered. It just sounds always like a lot of money. Like, it's funny, because I'm doing this solo, and I've been doing, like, Shadow Dark and all this kind of old modules and gold and all that. But then I DM Shadow of the Weird Wizard for my family, and it does not function on the same economy, like, at all. Of, like, how much money the player should be finding and using and getting and stuff. And so it's like, I have to keep, like, rewiring my brain back and forth. And like, no, I can't give my players 200 gold, because that's kind of a lot of fucking money. Whereas here, it's like 200 gold. It's practically nothing. It's funny. It's funny and weird. All right. Well, I mean, we're obviously going to take this. So, plus 1602. 3,352 gold. And again, until you want to incorporate a currency number here that tracks weight of money, I am not bothering. So I should, though. And it annoys me that I'm not, because I felt like that's an interesting part of Shadow Dark and the whole looting and what you can carry out of the dungeon and stuff. But anyways, and then the 10 carnelians, which I guess is just another slot to take up. So carnelians, 50 gold piece each. Loot, pack gear, 10. Hot damn. That was the big loot. I think that's worth 2 XP. Pretty big, pretty big, pretty big. Okay, good, good. And then that's it. We keep moving on. We're really clearing this place quite efficiently, very stealthily. So now we go to 18. Blurthiel. Characters can peek in here through the windows on the north wall. Whoops. As with the other windows in the guardhouse, sheets of translucent parchment cover the windows from the inside of the chamber. I guess we'll just skip over all that because I didn't read it. That would have probably changed our whole approach coming in and everything. Bright light fills this genteel chamber, a thick rug covers the floor, and a chandelier of silvery metal hangs above. There's a 4-poster bed, a hearth where a carefully banked fire glows, and a leather-covered table with an ornate desk pushed against one end. A comfortable-looking chair is pushed under the desk, and 2 padded chairs sit near the table. Tapestries depicting woodland scenes cover the walls. Light in here comes from a continual light spell placed on one arm of the chandelier. Brubgrok's chief assistant Glurthiel lives here, but she's present only about a third of the time. D6, 1 or a 2. Alright, she's not in here at the moment. So we're gonna have to figure out where she is. She's supervising activities around the guardhouse and quarry or leading patrols. In a fight, she uses her bow if she can or sword if she must, blah blah blah. So she would have immediately responded to the fight that broke out in the Taskmaster chamber. So, good thing she's not in here, because that would have been nonsensical now. Alright, but we go in and we see all this, and we see the desk. So I guess we're gonna loot it. Do we find the spell book? Let's roll a detection. We do find the spell book. So it contains Friends, Read Magic, Shield, Sleep, and Unseen Servant. These are all first level spells. So these are things that Villagrad could learn if we wanted to. What are all the equivalents? Let's see here. Friends would be... Oh boy, is there a Friends equivalent here? It's not Charm Person, it's a different spell. I don't think there is a Friends equivalent. Okay. Read Magic. Well, there's Detect Magic. I guess that'll have to be close enough. Shield. There is no shield. But there is Mage Armor, so I guess that's close enough. Sleep, we have Sleep, and then Unseen Servant, there is an Unseen Servant. Unless these are under Tier 2 wizards, some of these. But I kind of doubt it. Yeah, I do not see any Tier 2s. So ultimately, I think this book is fairly worthless. Unless I really wanted to learn Mage Armor or Unseen Servant. And I don't, so we'll leave it. The rest of the desk holds an assortment of trinkets and personal items, including a silver and bloodstone ring, 3 small jade figurines, and a pouch containing 10 silver, 15 gold, 5 platinum. Show 40 gold, 10 silver. Why not? And then, who else can carry shit? Well, Tress has more battle gear slots. So... the ring and 3 figurines will be 2 slots. Yeah. Loot, battle gear, 75 GP. Jade figurine. 100 each. 100 each. Whoa. Battle gear. 3. Alright, she is loaded to the gills. We're carrying a lot of loot, so hopefully there's not too much left. Okay. Right, so we're good here. Except we know someone is here. We could wait for them to return, but we risk other things being, we risk other things being noticed. Someone going into that Taskmaster chamber and finding the dead bodies there. Or someone going in here wondering where this guy is. So it is risky to wait here. I was just looking to see if elves have dark vision at all, but I don't think they do. And that's why he's got lights in here. So we could just sit here in the darkness and wait for someone to eventually return. But it seems... I don't know. I think too much could go wrong with a situation like that. So I think we'll ditch this place and go towards the staircase, 16. A single step down leads to a landing with a spiral staircase that curls downward. An oil lamp with a smoky flame illuminates the landing. The top step is trapped. It has a hinged lid that opens into a cavity that contains a spring-loaded trap designed to grab and crush any limbs stuck in it, like a bear trap. Okay. So do we want to make a perception check here? Yeah, well, I'll allow a perception check from Danton before he steps down on this. Okay. That's probably a little too casual, you know, for old school gaming. But there's a lot of differing opinions on traps, man. Everybody's got different thoughts about them. The one that I tend to agree with is that, like, traps themselves are not interesting most of the time, and it's more about knowing there's a trap there and then overcoming the trap that is often leads to the more interesting situations. But, you know, players and characters constantly searching for traps isn't interesting, and then, you know, random rolls or something to just determine if you find the trap isn't interesting. The only interesting thing really comes about of, like, okay, we know there's a trap there, and hopefully the trap is interesting enough on its own, on its design, that figuring out how to overcome the trap is the exciting part. But most old school modules aren't really written with that interesting of traps in mind. It's usually just pit traps or tripwires and things like that. In which case, you know, you probably could just rip them out wholesale and that's it, you know, be done with it. Because traps like that aren't very exciting, and they're just kind of a form of random attrition most of the time. I think some can be better, like if it's like a door that slams shut or like separates the group or like traps the group. But yeah, like things like this where it's just, yeah, you didn't notice it, you failed rolls, and now your leg is gone and you're an idiot. I don't know. Alright, so he notices that the top step here before he goes to it looks to be on a hinge. So we will just step over that one and hopefully remember that it's there. Okay. So now we go down to number 9 here. And that leads into big room number 8. This fairly long and wide room has 6 exits, 2 alcoves in the west wall, 2 in the east wall, and 2 doors in the south wall. A line of crates and barrels runs down the chamber's center. Okay. We do want to put Glerthiel somewhere. I want her to be in the guardhouse so that we can end this once and for all with no survivors. So she's supervising activities around the guardhouse. So I gotta pick a room to, like, put her in. And we just need to decide. So she's gonna be... I guess she could be in the lower level. But probably she's on this main level. So I could just roll a die. But I'm leaning towards just putting her in the kitchen. Okay, fine. For right now, she's in the kitchen. It is determined, it is done. So we're in room 8, and there's really nothing here. Except these crates that are filled with mundane supplies. Flour, leather, metal ingots, firewood, charcoal, dried rushes. The only valuable commodity is a barrel of lamp oil, holding the equivalent of 75 flasks. It's quite a bit. Alright, well, I guess we will... We came from the west, so we will continue to the west to number 10. This L-shaped chamber has pairs of narrow windows on the north and west walls. The southern arm of the L is screened off with a barrier made of wood and canvas. The northern arm of the L holds a long rack hung with suits of chainmail. The rack also contains helmets, shields, swords, bows, and quivers of arrows. A pair of barrels stands near the rack, along with a few three-legged stools and a small anvil. The sergeant of the guard lives in the screened area to the south. Okay. So he's in there. Is he sleeping? He is not currently sleeping, so we're just going to roll standard dex versus his perception. And he rolled a 14, which is probably a failure. I can't imagine him having that high of a perception. So we'll say a failure with a margin of 2. Danton, -2. Ooh, great success with a 2. Even Corrin succeeded. This looks pretty much... Oh yeah, no problem. No problems here. Everybody succeeded, sneaking into this area, looking over the weapons, and we see the divider. So, you know, it's one of those just like privacy barriers, you know, and it's just made of wood and canvas. If he's not sleeping, I'm not sure exactly what he's going to be doing in there. Again, my usual example is just jerking it, but, you know, if I was running a family-friendly game, I don't know, reading a book, I guess. So now I'm going to roll a perception just in general to see if we hear. And if he's in there, he's probably pretty quiet. So I'm going to roll this with disadvantage. Okay, so... Oh, but with detection. +1. That would actually be a success. So yes, Corrin just barely hears, like, maybe, like, a page turning or something. And so, you know, she gives some, like, hand signals to the rest of the group that there's something on the other side of that barrier. So here's the real problem, if you want to be sort of a heroic group, is, you know, just attacking something, like ambushing something like this and just charging in and killing. You don't know that this isn't a bad person. It could be an innocent, but we know where most of the slaves are. We know that this is an armory of some kind. It's unlikely to be an innocent. And usually just accept the consequences of your actions. If this was, for some reason, an innocent slave that gets chained up back here, and we rush in and we slaughter him, it's a bummer, but, you know, we put him out of his misery at least. What's the best strat here for dealing with this guy? He's gonna notice any sort of movement of the barrier. So, and we don't want to be really too loud. There isn't really a good option for sneaking up. I don't want to waste a sleep spell on an unknown single target. I think we have to make a little noise and get him to come out. So maybe we are... Maybe we wait around the corner here. And then we throw, like, a dagger, or, like, a little rock, or, I don't know, something. Some small object. One of those crystals or something, I don't know. And we throw it at, like, the pile of helmets and weapons on the racks. And wait for him to come out. And then we ambush him. That's probably the best way to go. Alright, so we'll do that. And he's going to get up. I mean, he might grab his weapons and stuff. I guess I'll ask the Aura. Does he grab his... He's probably not even going to have armor on. So I can't imagine he'd put armor on. But does he grab a weapon? He does not. So he just assumes that it's like a rat or something. But he's going to go check it out. And I'm going to give him perception check on with disadvantage to see if he sees us out of his peripheral. Okay, so I think I was putting his perception at 12, so that is a failure. So now we can ambush him. And Danton will just spear him through the neck with advantage. That is going to be a hit if he's not wearing armor. 6 damage is not enough to kill him. Corin will shoot him. Crit, 14 damage. Now he's dead. Now he's very dead. Man, she is a menace now. Maybe I went too far with this. It seemed like just a small increase, but really I increased her average damage by 2, and her max damage by 3. Oh well. Alright, still not a significant combat though, so we're not making much XP by doing this stealth method. Because we're just doing a lot of insignificant fights. So there you go. If you want to maximize your XP potential, I guess go in guns blazing. But I think I would calculate this all as part of the bonus XP at the end, so it should come out to be somewhat even. Okay. So we find a key on his person, and we'll drag him back behind the curtain just in case. And then we'll search his area. He's got a comfortable bed, a chest of drawers, a writing table with a hard chair, and an armchair. So we're going to have to actually search the room to see if we find this thing. And Corin does not. Sorry, I don't find this loose stone under his bed. It just, yeah, doesn't get noticed. So, still not sure what the key goes to. But we miss out on an extra 5,000 silver. Stupidly high number, especially if you're playing Shadow Dark and it's like, oh god, 5,000. Because at that point you have to literally just carry the chest. You can't just stuff this in your backpack. You have to carry the chest. So that takes up your hand slots. But it's 5,000 silver. So. Okay. Well, so far so good. So now we move on to the other side to room number 6. The barracks. Chamber has no door, just a heavy curtain drawn across the entry. It says, during daylight hours, they spend time sitting at the tables, gambling, swapping tall tales, and occasionally wrestling or brawling among themselves. It does say only 6 guards are present at any given time. Do we think that's accurate? Are we happy with that kind of number? Human guards. It says 6. I suppose. I don't know where all the other guards are, but we could probably bump that up, right? Because they live here, right? There's 24 bunks in this room. How many humans are on active duty at the moment? Because mostly they have goblins on duty at night. So I think this number is just to be kind of nice about it, but really there should be a lot more in this room. Goblins on the top. I assume there's some humans that are like guarding the quarry and some on patrol. But no, on patrol you find goblins. So I think this is just one of those things that a player would never really think about or know about or anything like that. And just to make it not obscene. But really, there should be... maybe 20. I wouldn't be surprised to put down 20 here. Which is hefty. Okay. Let's say there's 20 human guards in the barracks sleeping. Now we'll make it 16. Fine. We'll say it's 16. Okay, 16. Still quite a few. Still more than we'd really want to take on. But 16. So, I guess we're going to sneak in. Because they're all snoozing. And, oh boy. We are in this area. 6, which does not look like it holds 24 bunk beds, if I can be real honest. Not at all. And how big is this area? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30... 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So the whole area is 30 by 30. How convenient. Because Villagrad is just going to cast sleep in the whole area. And he's going to use his Cloak of Magic. So he guarantees a great success. Which means that he handles 8d4. Well, no. I guess it's always 4d4. And a great success just means that he affects any humanoids. So, no, we're not quite following... we're not using the Shadow Dark Sleep spell. We're using the Tales of Argosa 1. So it's always 4d4, just can affect others. So he still has to roll 4d4, which means he has to max this roll to get every last one of them. And I guess it's going to handle the ones closest first, because they're all one-hit die. Alright, so let's roll 4d4, see how many we get. 11. So 11 are in a deep slumber. 5 are not. And I think, would Villagrad be aware of the number he rolled? I don't know. Would he be aware that it's not going to guarantee, or, you know, would he be aware that it's going to maybe affect the ones closest to him first? I don't know. I don't know how you'd handle this. It's all going to be a little meta no matter what you do. So, alright, we're going to sneak down the barracks then. And we want to make sure we get the ones that are normally sleeping first. So the last 5 in the chamber. So we are going to have to roll dex against their perception. And because there's 5 of them, I'm going to just say it's a flat perception instead of disadvantage. Right, so they rolled a 16. That is failure by like 4 or 5. Danton, -2. Great success. Orin, +1. Success. Villagrad, great success. All right, we're already good. Our dex, our stealth check. So good. Okay, so we sneak up to the last 5. Seems pretty easy to just slit their throats at this point. I don't know. Do we think they would make a noise? If we position ourselves around the last 4, and we can tell that they're not in a deep slumber like the others, I guess. I guess I'll give an oracle roll. No, I'll give a perception check to see if the 5th guy hears or not and wakes up. Okay, he does. So we slit their throats, but they do kind of gurgle and, you know, and it's enough of a noise that he hears. But we can now tell that he's the only one that got up. And so now we're going to roll initiative. We fail. So this guy, oh boy. Would he be cognizant enough? Probably. Probably. Let me just check Dark Slumber real quick. Once it loads, real quick. Everything real quick. There we go. Blah, blah. Oh, wait a minute. There's a luck will save to resist. Fuck. That changes a lot, doesn't it? Ooh, that does change a lot. I said that this was better than the Shadow Dark version, but that's sort of the biggest factor that makes it not better. It is a luck roll, though, which, honestly, a lot of these guys... Let's see, if we just go for a human bandit, luck of 4. So I have to roll 11 dice and see if any of them roll... Well, what's their will? Okay, yeah, 4 or lower. Okay, let's just do D8 and 3. Wow. 4, 5. Okay, 5 rolled enough to not be affected. But they were still sleeping. Now they're awake. Yeah, okay. It said that shaking them gives them another will roll to resist. You could say that shouting could give them a will roll to resist, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so we have, boy. We have 6 that are currently awake. They are unarmored and unarmed, but they are awake. And one of them, yeah, shouted for assistance. So now I need to decide if that would call attention to anything else. What would really be able to heal here? Maybe 11? Maybe 5? 11 is the Great Hall, but there's nothing in there. And then 5 is the conference room. Nothing in there. I mean, you probably could say the whole place might be able to hear him, but yeah, I don't know. 12 is the kitchen. Would they be able to hear? Let's roll an oracle. No, definitely not. So the situation is contained to this and these 6 unarmored and unarmed. So the guy that first noticed, he's going to spend his turn scrambling out of bed. Most denizens of the guardhouse are accustomed to raucous sounds from this area and do not respond to a fight here. Okay, well then we don't have to worry about anything. It says during daylight hours they keep their weapons within easy reach at all times, but this is not daylight. So I would imagine they hold everything in the armory. I don't think they have weapons here. I think this guy's going to try and just get up and run. So he makes it like close to the doorway by this point. But now it's our turn. It is, however, dark in here. It is probably quite dark. Because why would there be lights on? But they can't see in the dark either. So maybe he doesn't get that close to the door. Well, it does say there's 2 tables in here, and a smoky oil lamp burns above each table. So maybe it's very dim light, you know? It's like night lights in here. It's pretty dim. All right, so he can see enough to like not trip over to get to the doorway. But I'm going to give a -2 on shots. So she's going to roll bow. This is going to be -2 to try and snipe this guy before he runs for more help. And she rolled a 4. So that's no good. Villagrad is going to do another Dark Slumber. So the last one of the day. +1 for Arcane Lore. Success. Okay, so now the last 6 guys have to roll their luck roll again. And they're now at 3 because they did succeed the first time. So this is 6 d20s. They need a 3 or lower. One of them did manage to succeed a second time. The luckiest bastard on earth rolled double 1s in a row when it actually is good to roll 1s. Okay, so one guy in bed is still, he doesn't conk out, you know. The guy by the doorway collapses. The other 4, you know, just slump back in their beds. This guy's like, oh god. I guess I could roll a really shitty 4d4 and it could not work, but no, alright, it worked. So, Danton is gonna calmly walk over and stab this guy in the bed. No, he dodges out of the way. Come on, Tress. Get him. This is with +1. He's got an AC of like 10. Come on. There you go. 7 damage, and I think we said they have 6 health. 4 health. Yeah, dead. Okay. Whew. That was a little dicey. And we can then go around and slit all the other throats. That's a lot of guards. That could have been a lot worse. Sleep is pretty fucking insane. And it's very important to remember when running this game that most enemies are probably going to have very low luck. Yeah. Most enemies are going to have... Yeah, this tier of play and stuff, like, really not much is going to have higher than, like, 6 or 8 luck at the most. And a lot of enemies are going to have, like, 4. So... yeah, okay. So it's not that bad. There is a chance those goblins, something could have happened. Let me see. That first pack of goblins I put to sleep. Okay, yeah, 2 of them would have stayed up, and that could have complicated things. And then the second pack, 1 of them would have stayed up. Yeah, all right, you know. Whoops. We're gonna say that's a whoops, but it's far, far too late to retcon that. Alright, so that's good. I still don't think that's a significant combat. It wasn't really a combat, it was a massacre. Each guard has a small locked chest that holds a few coins and personal possessions. They all carry keys on their persons. Collectively, the 24 chests contain 3,000 silver and 7 100 gold piece jewels. Wrought silver rings or armbands decorated with ornamental stones, along with various common items. Wrought silver rings. Okay, that sounds like it's all going to take up a slot each. So we're getting kind of hefty and laden with gear here. Yeah, I don't know. Let's say that we just donate all this to the slaves and be heroes. But I am going to give XP for that. So let's give another 2 XP for finding that much and donating it to slaves. Good job. Now I don't have to worry about it. Okay. Still going on here. Let's poke our heads into room 11 now. The shadowy room has 4 exits, all doors. 2 are in the south wall, set in alcoves. There are also doors to the north and the east. Chamber has a low dais at the west end. A sturdy-looking table and comfortable chairs stand atop the dais. The eastern portion of the room has 2 longer tables, each flanked by wooden benches. Rushes, both fresh and dried, cover the chamber's floor in a thick layer. Okay. Nothing much going on there. No, it specifically says it doesn't. The half-orc kitchen manager does not even allow Glirthiel in there. So no, okay, that doesn't work. Then we're gonna have to go with, what's room number 5? Conference room. There's the dormitory room, the guest rooms, the receiving hall. None of this really makes sense, so we might have to look down at the lower levels. Okay, we'll put her in the smithy. She's down inspecting the smithy. That's where we're at. Okay, so right. Listening into the kitchen then, we definitely hear the sounds of cooking and pots and, you know, various things. And we hear this female half-orc kind of yelling very harshly. We don't really have... I mean, we're out of spells. We're out of spells, unfortunately, so it's not great. We hear something, what sounds like, you know, a kitchen. So we kind of have to suspect that there's not, like, armed guards filling the area, but we don't know who's doing the yelling or what their nature is or anything like that. It's kind of hard to tell. So I don't know. I guess our best bet is to just bum rush in. Danton doing a spear charge and picking any target that looks like it's wearing weapons and armor. All right, so yeah, we'll just charge in, and I think we're just gonna do standard initiative because he's gonna hesitate a moment to evaluate the situation. He's not just gonna spear the first thing he sees. He's not a maniac. So yeah, we're just gonna go initiative normal. All right, good. Well, then there's really one target, and this is pretty simple. So yeah, Zodsnog has a 13 AC and 6 HP, so she's not really much of a combatant. She's just a slave driver, and thus we will slay her. We missed, Danton. You fucking missed. So now it's up to Corrin to do your job, as always. There you go. 5 damage. Does leave her at 1 HP, but we have a natural 19 effect. Oh, ho, ho, ho. 12 on the missile trauma. You love to see it. Right, so I had ChatGPT. I should have had DeepSeek do it, but I had ChatGPT rewrite all of the trauma tables to make it a little bit more generic instead of just humanoid, which is kind of what I wanted from like new tables, but I figured these tables are mostly good. I just want them to be a bit more generic. So, right, fatal shot. The target makes a luck con save. On a failure, they die instantly. On a success, they're reduced to 0 hit points and incapacitated. I mean, I can roll, but I'm pretty sure... Yeah, alright, so she's definitely very dead. Very, very dead. Like, pinned to the wall behind her, hanging from the arrow by her eye socket, kind of dead. And then we see just 4 terrified human slaves, like, cooking and cleaning pots and stuff. So, it does say they hate Zodsnog, but they also fear her, so they take up knives, cleavers, rolling pins, and other kitchen implements and join the fray against intruders. But if the half orc falls, any slave still fighting immediately surrender. So yeah, obviously they're just gonna surrender. Yeah, there's not much really else for them to tell us that we don't already know. But we can't really send them anywhere. I don't want to send them out anywhere, so they're just gonna stay here. You know, they can just sit here and well, I don't know. It's pretty dangerous too, because if someone comes in here and sees this half orc nailed to the fucking wall, and the slaves sitting here, it's not gonna look good. So hold on, let's you know, we ask what these other 2 doors are, and they say that one's the buttery and one's the larder. So we tell them to just go wait and hide in the larder until we give them the all clear. And that's that. The buttery, I don't know what a buttery is. Is it filled with butter? No, it's filled with a wide array of beverages. Casks and barrels contain beer, meat, or hard cider. Rack of bottles contains wines and distilled spirits. Collectively, the 15 bottles are worth 1,500 gold pieces. Jesus. It's like too much money for me to even, like, think about. Well, I can't really... Well, I guess Corrin has a lot of slots. So that's 15 bottles worth 1,500, so it's... Alright, I guess she can take 4 bottles, and that's 400. $100 gold piece each. This is gonna go battle gear, 4 slots, 4. Correct. Done. We could probably take a couple more bottles here and there, but we're mostly... Yeah, we're mostly wrapped up tight. So that's kind of it. There is a trap door. And a windlass. A windlass? What? This is a word? Windlass? An apparatus for moving heavy weights. Typically, a windlass consists of a horizontal cylinder which is rotated by the turn of a crank or belt. Okay. Yeah, okay. So we can lower this bucket. And we can hold 300 pounds. So we can lower us one by one down to area 26. Do we want to do that? Well, the rest of this whole section contains nothing, right? So let's pretend we spend some time. And we'll skip over a step. Now, you wouldn't do this if you were DMing. You'd have to have them go step by step. But we can simplify things. That basically we search these other rooms. There's no occupants. There's nothing interesting. And it's all nothing. Okay, good. So now we're going to go down to area 26. And we'll send Danton down first. So we're heading down here. This section. Door leading into this chamber is always kept locked from the east side. Okay, and this door is locked. Blah, 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 blah. This chamber has a musty but not unpleasant smell, like grass after a rain. The sound of dripping water echoes loudly. The space seems utterly black and cold, without the faintest gleam of light or heat. The room has 2 oil lamps that are just like those in the upper levels. One lamp is placed near the bottom of the ladder leading to area 13. The other lies at the foot of the stairs leading to area 27. Wait a minute, it's a ladder? I thought it was a windlass. Ladder? What are you talking about, ladder? I thought I was going down in a bucket. Oh, there is a ladder. Alright, well then never mind. We don't take the bucket. Okay. So we're climbing down into utter darkness. And there is a lamp on the wall here next to the ladder at the bottom, so I guess we'll light it. When the guardhouse was built, Brubgrok had a basin chiseled into the rock here to hold the water from a natural spring. The whole chamber is flooded to a depth of about 2 feet. Okay, so we're in 2 feet of water here. It's not pleasant. Probably pretty damn cold. But we light the lamp, the others come down, and we can go up the stairs here to this door. We see another lamp. That one we're going to keep unlit. We find this door unlocked, or locked. So, who's our traps and locks person? Tress. And she has thieves' tools. We're going to do it, baby. Traps and locks. That's +1. Success. Okay. Lock picked. And into the next room we peek. A low dais here holds a wide stone bowl heaped with hot coals that cast an eerie glow over the area. The bowl is surrounded by a visible haze and the reek of coal smoke. Next to the fiery bowl stands a massive iron anvil set atop a stone pedestal. Opposite the anvil lies a stone bench with a great leather bellows and several hammers and sets of tongs heaped on it. A wooden bin filled with coal stands next to the bench. So there's a bugbear blacksmith here, Wart Slag. He does pay attention to any comings and goings from areas 26. So he is going to be paying attention to that. And he's got 2 goblin assistants, and Glerthiel is here. So this is going to be pretty tricky. I'm going to give him just a flat perception check, unopposed, to see if he notices, like, the door open and movement happening. He's a bugbear, so we'll just use bugbear stats for perception, which puts it at 11. Here we go. 19. All right, so he's a little too distracted by Glerthiel being here and talking to him that he doesn't quite notice yet. Now, that was just the unopposed check to see if he notices it opening. If we want to stealth in, there's still going to be an opposed check, which probably Glerthiel is going to be able to participate in and stuff. So yeah, we hear them talking, we see the bugbear, you know, we're kind of creeping around the corner of the door here, and the goblins working away. We don't have any sleeps left. We could blind deafen one. But I think our stealth option here is largely going to be ranged attacks. Still, I don't know. Do I want to use black powder? I don't think I would know that we're, like, done. Who knows what's down here? So we're trying to be stealthy. So Danton's going to throw a javelin. Corin's going to shoot. Villigrad's going to, I guess I could throw a fire pot. He's got pretty good daggers, though. Alright, he'll throw a dagger at one of the goblins. And then Tress... Oh, boy, yeah, she's got really no options. Alright, can she borrow something from somebody? Somebody has a dagger, right? Yeah, she'll borrow a dagger from Corin and throw that. Okay, so Corin's going to shoot the elf, who seems to have an air of authority to her. Danton's going to throw at the bugbear. Villigrad and Tress throwing daggers at the goblins. So that's the plan. I'm going to just give us advantage. I'm going to just give us surprise here because we're not moving. So he didn't notice the door opening, and we're going to just post up and shoot. The angle here probably is not too kind to this plan actually working, but I mean, they're like right here. So, or they're in this region, and they're distracted. So yes, I'm just giving this to us. Again, my casualification. But here we go. So, Javelin advantage against the bugbear is a hit for 7 damage. Oh, it's a crit for 7 damage. That's good. He rolled a 20 and a 1. So that's nice. Yeah, okay, so he gets the natural 19 effect as well. So he does 7 damage to the bugbear, who has 16 health. So he's down to 9, and then we're going to roll 1d10 plus 2 missile trauma. 12. Okay, he's dead. Problem solved. Damn, nice throw. Corin shooting the elf. Okay, 8 damage and a d12 on the missile trauma. 5. Target is overwhelmed and instinctively flees to a safer location. Okay. That's actually not too good, but basically she fails her morale save instantly, depending on if she gets a turn or not. Villigrad with throwing a dagger. Against one of the goblins. I do think that is a kill. I think they have 3 health, like we said, and like 11 or 12 AC, so good. And I'm pretty sure this is rolling with... Okay. I don't know why. It should add 3, right? Plus 2 from my attack, and plus... Yeah, alright, so it's counting as strength. It's a melee attack. Yeah. So it should be even 1 higher, but okay. And then Tress also So just a d20 plus 3. Okay, that is a fumble. So the dagger clatters onto the stone nearby. Okay. That was our surprise round. So 2 dead, 2 alive, but the elf is injured. Whatever 8 damages. I mean, maybe she's actually dead. I don't know. Let's look at Glerthiel's stats. Glerthiel here. 9 HP. So she has 1 HP left, and she's in panic mode no matter what. And now we roll initiative. Great success. Okay, Corn will just fire another shot. Now she's dead. And Danton will charge in with his spear to the goblin. And now it's dead. Okay. Still not a significant fight. We have not had a single significant fight this entire location. Because we just have so much alpha strike damage, and we're succeeding on like every stealth roll possible. Pretty good. 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 Shut in. Not much else to say. Then we poke over to 25. Well, I guess 24 as well. It's all the way down on the far end, but... Oh, I don't know. Would they... Dim light reveals a high ceiling and a wide space. The air feels warm and moist. It carries the sense of hay and manure mixed with the tang of coal smoke. From somewhere in the shadowy depths comes a low chorus of metallic scrapes and clinks. Quarry uses mules for hauling heavy loads of stone out of the tunnels and oxen for moving stone overland. The draft animals are kept here when not working, along with a few horses and ponies for riding. Open animal stalls line the west wall. A 4-foot-high stone wall runs down the center of the stable. Rings set in the stone allow animals to be tethered for shoeing, grooming, or temporary housing. Uzgrad, Bubgrok's half-orc chief groom, is in charge of the animals here. He has 6 human slaves who do the real work. Pays no heed to what is happening in the smithy. Okay. Alright, fine. I mean, they're just doing work. Okay, so they're you know, cleaning up or whatever, doing whatever they're doing with these mules and shit. And he's got 6 slaves here doing work, and he's overseeing it and stuff. But it's a big, wide open area, so I feel like he would just see us coming, and there isn't really much stealth here. So I guess we'll just roll initiative as he sees us and we see him. That's all there is to say, really. Alright, we succeed. Corn's gonna shoot her bow, as usual, and try and kill him in one shot, and oh no, I think she misses. He's got an AC of 14, so he's got some armor on him. Well, that makes it a little trickier. I don't know at what distance this encounter occurred. Distances are fairly nebulous anyways, and it's very dim in here, so... Yeah, alright, Danton just charges in then. And, oh my god. That was an explode. Look at that. Yeah, 14 damage is pretty good. Okay, so just spears him through the chest and hoists him into the air and tosses his body aside. And, yes! And the slaves immediately just like, oh my god. Oh, Lord. Okay, well that was pretty simple. And then there's doors leading out. No guards are posted here. Blah, 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 blah. So on and so forth. And there is a secret door here, apparently. The slaves here do know about the secret door leading to Area 28, and beyond it are many cruel goblins and their pet wolves. Interesting. Well, we tell them to just kind of wait here with the animals, and we'll go clear out these goblins. Now it gets a little trickier, because that area is probably going to be all dark. Shit! Yeah, it's about to get a lot more complicated with this stuff. Goblins. Okay, well, we're gonna find the secret door. Let's see. I do have one cure wounds that I could put on Danton. And since we know we're going into goblin fights here, very likely it's gonna escalate. So I'm gonna cast cure wounds. Alright, we got a success. So that's going to use up that one. And we heal 2d6 onto Danton. 12. Oh, big numbers. It's up to 21 again. Okay, good. So then we go through the secret door to 28. Natural grotto lit by an oil lamp. Oh, it is lit. Wedged into a crack in the wall, gives access to a tightly spiraling staircase that leads up. 2 goblins and a warg stand guard here, keeping an eye on the stairs and defending areas 29 through 32 against intruders. Okay. Well, think we would just enter and see them. I mean, maybe we could do a... I think they would kind of notice this secret door opening. So I think we'll just call it even and just go with initiative. Fuck. See, now it gets a lot more complicated. So, yeah, they're gonna just start shouting for assistance. Well, no, I guess it doesn't ever imply usually that they shout for assistance. It just goes off of, they go into combat, and if combat lasts, like here, the ones here, they're accustomed to hearing occasional outbursts from Area 28, but if a fight there lasts more than 3 rounds, one of the goblins here fetches a warg mount and joins the battle. 2 more goblins go directly to the battle. So... I think that's your guideline, is like, if you don't end this within 3 rounds, but I don't know how you wouldn't end this in 3 rounds. You'd have to be insanely lucky, even with like normal AD&D rules. It just seems... I guess the warg has 15, so maybe. But alright, they're gonna go first, and they're just gonna attack. So, they're gonna be using slings. They get +1 on the roll, and they'll fire off one at Danton and one at Corin. No, Villagrad. So the one against Danton misses, against Villagrad also misses. And then the warg is going to move around a little bit and try and attack. Yeah, I guess it'll try to attack Villagrad. And I could try and cover him or intercept, but I'm not even going to. So it gets +3 on this attack. Alright, it definitely hits, and it's dealing 2d4 damage. Okay, done. Now, our turn. Danton's going to attack the ward. 8 damage is pretty solid. He's got 7 left. Tress will join him with her +1. Oh my god. Oh my god. There you go. 1 in 1,000. Jesus. Well, yeah, I guess there you go. That could never happen with Corrin's attack, ever. Holy shit. Now, the real problem is that I'm pretty sure she missed. So that number is a moot. It didn't happen. Because the warg has an AC of 13, so she missed by 1. Failing to do 28 damage. Oh my god. Bummer. Bummer. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, that's that. But it's definitely possible. Now you can see the power of exploding dice. And the averages don't really account and tell the whole story. Villagrad, I guess, will also use his sword against the warg. So this is now a +2. And he'll two-hand it. Crit. 11 damage, and it is dead. Corrin shoots one of the goblins. Crit. 2 20s in a row. Followed by this insane exploding dice demonstration. Okay, so that leaves 1 goblin. He's going to roll will. He fails. So if he goes first, he's going to run. Otherwise, we get to kill him. Okay, we definitely go first. So Danton spears him and kills him. So that's that. Although it says they have 13 AC. Alright, I'll give him his 13 AC, even though I think that's high. Now you're dead. Okay, did not last 3 rounds, that's for sure. So we're going to continue to creep around. I guess they do have lights, so we don't need to light our lamp at all. We're going to go around to 29. Here it's probably fairly dark. But there is a fire at 30, so we can see the fire over here, and we see goblins sitting around the fire. So it's dark, but we could get a stealth operation here. There's 8 goblins gathering around the fire. A little tricky, but if we can get a surprise ambush and then win initiative afterwards, might not be too bad. Also, a fire pot could really do well here. Right in the middle of the fire, just sending fire everywhere and be pretty good. So let's roll their perception as a group. They rolled a 10, which is going to be a success. Barely. Perception, goblin. Alright, they succeed with a margin of 1. -2. Danton succeeds. Corrin, +1. Terrible failure, that's not good. Villagrad, great success, good. And Tress, great success. Alright, we're good. We sneak up, and Villagrad's gonna open by just throwing the fire pot. Unfortunately, I don't really know if this would be advantage or not. I guess he has all the time that he wants to kind of prepare his throw, so I suppose it's good. Alright, I'll give him advantage on it. So he's going to be rolling +5 with advantage. Alright, he got 16. Good thing I gave him advantage. So that's 16, and then we have to decide how many are exactly within melee area of the fire. There's D8. There's an 8. There's 8 of them, so let's just roll a D8. Alright, well, all of them. Seems kind of crazy, but, I mean, I threw it into the fire. Maybe that enhanced it a little bit, and so on and so forth. Do I want to give him a luck save for half damage? Yes, but will half damage save them? It's a D10 damage, and I rolled 10, so no, half damage will not save any of them. Jesus, look at that! I rolled. Oh my god! All 8 and max damage. Perfect fire pot. Do we want to have that alert anybody though? That might be a really quite a loud sound. They are sleeping, though. I'll give them a perception check. Alright, they succeed. So they do hear that kind of loud sound effect. And so they're going to start getting up. They hear something quite wrong, and they don't hear the usual sounds coming from the den. So, yeah. There's 4 of them in the barracks. So one of them is going to go and get the warg. Yeah, let's have 2 of them go get the warg, and they all wait. They're going to try and be smart about this. Because there's just dead silence. If there was, like, ongoing fight, then maybe they would rush in a little bit more. But now they're like, okay, this doesn't sound good. So 2 of them are going to get a wargs. So we've got 4 goblins and 2 wargs that are going to be rushing out at us. So let's just roll initiative. Failure. Okay, so they come screaming out of the darkness towards us. And this is going to be a whole thing. So we got 4 slings. Let's just go down the line. 1 to each. We'll make it fair. This is +1 against Tress. Miss. Villagrad. Hit. Corin. Miss. Danton. Miss. So just 1 hit on Villagrad for D4 damage. 3. He's at 9. Then we've got the wargs, which are going to target the least armored. So this is a +3 against Villagrad. Hit. Corin. Miss. Nope. Hit. Shit. And they are doing 2d4 damage each. So 2d4 to Villagrad is 5. He's down to 4 now. 2d4 to Corin is 4. Alright, 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 alright. Alright, let's not get out of hand here. It's our turn. Do we have anything clever to do? No, I don't really have any spells. Although I feel like I should be able to downgrade a tier 2, but if we're keeping with Shadow Dark rules, that's not how it works. So we will keep it, and that's not how it works. He really wants a tier 2 spell. Tress does have Blind Deafen, but I don't think it's a good use of return compared to just stabbing something. So let's focus on these wargs, because they're big problems. So Danton's going to move over and try and stab one of the wargs. Technically, it is next to, say, Villagrad, so he should get a +1. Okay, and they have an AC of 13, so that's a hit for 5 damage. He's got 10 health left. Tress will join in on that same one for +2. Okay, it's got 5 health left. Villagrad will join in with his sword. Okay, that is a kill. So together, they took down 1 warg. And that was the one on Villagrad. So now Corin has a warg on her. Gets a little trickier. She does have Slip Away, which I think is going to give her the Skirmisher ability. This is the only way to avoid opportunity attacks normally. Hold on, we gotta wait for this PDF to load again. I have too many open that I never look at. Oh, it's not even... What the fuck is Skirmisher? Oh, it's a rogue ability. When you're subject to a free attack, enemy suffers disadvantage on the attack roll. Alright, fine. She never uses anything, so she'll use Ranger Craft to move away. The war gets disadvantage. He rolled a 5, so he misses, and now the Corn's going to shoot it in the face. 11 damage. Well, that's pretty hefty. That is quite a hefty hit. Alright, new round. We succeed. Corn's going to shoot it again. Now it's dead. Second arrow through the other eye socket. I always like targeting the eye sockets. Very good. Okay. Danton is going to charge at the goblins with his spear. Kills one. Let's fucking major exploit to try and kill a second one. Oh no, he's got opportunist. He doesn't even need to do that. He'll just roll a second time. There you go. Boom. Now Tress will charge in, try and kill a third one. That is a kill. Yes, good. And Villagrad finally... Black powder weapon. Let's do it. Let's do it. Boom! That's what I'm talking about. Blow a goblin's head clean off. And the whole place just echoes with sound. Because I'm pretty confident we're done. Yep, that's it. Roll a perception to see if we find these clay pots. That one could border on a significant combat, actually. We did take a good amount of damage. It was an actual fight, I suppose. Like, it's kind of close. I guess I could see maybe declaring that a significant combat. So sure, we'll have one significant combat. So an XP, and we can each short rest, but it doesn't really matter because we're done. The whole place is over. So we win. Perception check if we find their treasure. We do. So we get another 700 silver. I guess. I'll keep track of it. And 200 gold. It's easy enough to adjust. And then 9 more bloodstones, which I think I have bloodstones. Somebody. No? I never picked up bloodstones? I could have sworn. Oh yeah, bloodstones. There you go. So just add 9 more. Boom. Okay. Job done. We win. Well, that was pretty good. We are certainly quite capable. I mean, that was really just like a crack team of commandos kind of shit, you know? Just stealth from top to bottom. And maybe I was too generous with the stealth rules and stuff like that, but I mean, you saw I did a lot of rolls. And unless I was supposed to put modifiers on all of them to make it a lot harder, most of it was just straight up successes. Group successes. Now, yeah, if you're following, like, I don't know, more old school rules or something like that, this would have never happened that way. If one person failed, you failed, but usually that's bullshit, and you prefer having a group check just because it's more fun. I don't know, it's up to you. If you think that's unrealistic, because if one person makes noise, then you know, that's it. But I think if your group is, on average, fairly stealthy, then, you know, your group is stealthy. I don't know. I think Tales of Argosa does lean more a bit towards just heroic fantasy. Even though it's low fantasy, we seem to be quite capable characters compared to what I usually envision of, like, OSR characters. So I don't know. Maybe I'm doing stuff really wrong, and obviously all of this is kind of subjective, DMing, bias, blah, 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 combined with the fact that I'm doing solo. That's why I'd really be interested in DMing Tales of Argosa. as like a comparison, because I have DM'd Shadow Dark, so I kind of know how that goes, but I haven't DM'd this. Although I do like this game enough in general that I did order a copy of the hardcover book, because I am planning on DMing this in person at some point. But okay, that's it. So we rescue all the slaves, we take them back to Dark Shelf, we're the heroes, blah, blah, blah. We give them that, like, 5,000 silver or whatever, and we distribute that among all the slaves so they can, you know, rebuild their lives somewhat, try and get back home, whatever. We're the great big heroes. How much XP is that worth? Again, we rescued every last slave. So that's a big factor. We busted the entire operation, including the 2 leaders of it and everything. We rescued Quan. We wiped out the entire place, basically top to bottom. There's obviously patrols and stuff that we're not going to find that are just going to scatter to the winds, but, you know, we're quite thorough. This finale, we were very stealthy. We did a lot of fights that didn't give us XP because they weren't significant combats. So I think that should be factored into your bonus number. Honestly, the number I was just spitballing in my head was 20. And I think that number would probably be a bit too high if you were running the XP system as normal. But since we reset back to 0 every time, I don't think it's that ridiculous of a number. This was the end of a pretty lengthy adventure. I definitely go much faster, I think, solo compared to if we were actually running this for a group. So I could see this taking like 5 sessions with a group, you know, going room to room and everything and running combats with a group of people. So this was a fairly hefty adventure that we did top to bottom. Or, I mean, we sort of did middle to bottom to top, but whatever. So yeah, I think 20 XP is not outrageous. It does put us close to halfway to 4, which might be a faster leveling pace than you want, even with this change. But remember, these numbers are going to get pretty outlandish once we hit 4 and 5. Let's see. Once we hit 4, we then need to get 125 XP to get to 5. And then there, we need 255 to get to 6. So, yeah, I don't think 20 is that really outrageous for a quest of this caliber. Because it's like, how many of these are you really going to do? So, yeah, 20 is what I'm going to hand out. You disagree? Well, you can't stop me, can you? All right. So that was all good. That was all very good. What do we do next? Well, obviously, we're going to try to get to a bigger town. I think we said we were going to put a bigger town in this area. So we could populate that and try and figure that out. Because we want to go to a bigger town to sell all this off. And then maybe buy some masterwork gear or something. But it's like, I don't know. Do I really want to make myself any more powerful than I already am? Maybe we just are hoarding our money. Just in case we want to set up shop somewhere or hire an army or something. But I think what would be the next logical step is to follow through and go to A1, Slave Pits of the Undercity. Well, does this have like an aftermath that like leads into one of the others? Because that would help a lot. Once player characters defeat Brubgrok and Glithia and free the slaves, blah blah blah, the adventure is effectively over. Oh yeah, 500 gold piece reward. I really don't need it, but I'm going to take it because I'm a greedy bastard. So we're sitting, before we even sell treasure, we're sitting on over 4,000 gold. Which, again, would not even really level us up to level 2. If we were doing old school, like fighter XP, gold for XP. Blah, 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 blah. That doesn't really tell us any sort of aftermath. But this here. The party can pick up some threads. Capturing Brubgrok or Galithia alive. Well, we didn't do that. The evil clerics. Well, we didn't talk to them. Even if the characters do not manage to capture the important slavers, their discoveries at the quarry help to reveal or at least hint at the full extent of the slave network. Officials along the coast of the Sea of Girnat become wary, and they begin piecing together stories from escaped slaves, survivors left for dead after attacks by bandits or pirates, and merchants and adventurers. Eventually, all this information points to the slavers operating in Highport, though reaching this conclusion might take several months. That's all right. We are doing downtime. We want Billigrad to study and learn a new spell and stuff. So I think next time we're going to go to the city nearby, the town nearby, whatever you want to call it. We'll figure it out. And we're going to spend some downtime, sell our loot, maybe craft something. I don't know. We'll see. And then that's going to point to... We'll hear about Highport. Because I'm sure our name will be... I mean, we're definitely going to get a rep now for busting up this whole slaver operation here, but we didn't put the kibosh on the whole slave operation. So we're going to hear about this place called Highport, which is going to be, I said, it was going to be out on the island here. Like right here. I'm just going to put it there. We're just going to fucking put it there right now. That's like a... Sure. Boom. And I'm going to label it Highport. Boom. Done. You can't stop me at all. So that was once a human city, but it's been overrun by humanoids, orcs, goblins, kobolds, ogres, and gnolls. Looted, burned, and ill-kept, the city has become a base for human outcasts wishing to deal with these unsavory creatures. So that's where we know that they're basing all this slave operations out of. That'll be fun. So that goes from page, like, 30? Down to 54? And this is now an old school module. This is not because A0 was written in 2013. So this is much older. And it'll be different, that's for sure. But I wonder how much more lethal it's going to be, because this is now actually a for levels 4 through 7. 6 to 8 characters of 4 through 7. So this should be much trickier for us to just cheese and destroy combat. So I think that is going to be interesting. And, like, how can we not follow up on the slave operation? I mean, this is what we're known for now, is freeing slaves. Alright, good stuff. My name is Mang. This has been Solo Roll Manging with Tales of Argosa. And I'll see you fine folks in the next part.